My name is Joralyn Glenn, and I'm the Marketing and Public Relations Coordinator at Glencairn Museum in Brenathan, Pennsylvania. Glencairn was built to be the home of Raymond and Mildred Pitcairn. They began construction in 1928, and they moved in 1939. They lived here for about 40 years. After both Raymond and Mildred had passed away, the family gave the building to the Academy of the New Church to be its museum. So since 1980, Glencairn has been a museum. Our mission is to teach about the history of religion using art and artifacts from a variety of cultures and time periods. And one of the things we do every year, well, for 9 years now, is we've had a World Nativities exhibition. The Pitcairn family had a nativity set made for them in the 1920s that has been in Glencairn since they moved in and has been on display every year. That was one piece that sort of inspired our annual World Nativities exhibition. Through this exhibition, we want to show how cultures and individuals around the world take a very well-known Bible story and put it into their own words or art and make it really apply to them and be familiar to them. And we just love the way that this story can bring out commonalities and differences between people around the world. So now we're standing in the Great Hall of Glencairn. This was, believe it or not, the living room of the family when they lived here. Now during this season, this is where we have the majority of the World Nativities exhibition. This year we have 40 nativities on display. 20 of them are on loan from other institutions or individuals, and 20 different countries are represented this year. Glencairn does have a growing collection of nativities of our own, but we always try to get some on loan so that somebody can see something new every time they come here. So this year, we have next to me on display a nativity from Mexico. This one does belong to Glencairn, but it was given to us some years ago by private collectors. I love this one for a variety of reasons, but I do think it's a good example of what I was saying before about culture taking a very familiar story and making it their own. Very bright colors here that are traditional. You see these, you might think Mexico because you see these colors a lot in Mexico and Mexican art. One thing I love about this are the animals. You don't see the traditional sheep, donkeys, camels, but you do have these two animals here that honestly, I don't know what they are, but I love how colorful they are and the attention they're giving to the baby Lord here. So now I'm standing in front of a Neapolitan presepio. This is an Italian tradition that has 4 main elements. Not only do you see the nativity, the traditional nativity scene, the Holy Family, and then you also see the shepherds coming to worship the baby, and you see the wise men coming. You also see the inn at Bethlehem and all of the hustle and bustle that goes on around it. The idea is really to show an active, sort of a day in the life. What was the world looking like the moment Christ was born? And this presepio was actually collected by a local woman. She is from Bucks County, the late Elizabeth Ann Evans. She took regular trips to Italy and would purchase different figurines when she was there to, over the years, collect this this presepio. There are over 100 figures in this collection. This is actually on loan to us from the Fleischer Art Memorial in Philadelphia, and we've been lucky enough to have it on loan 2 years now. This is the second year we've had it. I love this scene, the way it's really focused on the Holy Family, but you can step back and take a look at a lot of other little details going on. And to me, it's also magical to see how the angels are suspended from the ceiling so that they are hanging over the Holy Family, looking down on the whole scene and on the whole village. So now we're standing near a Coptic nativity. This is from Egypt. What I love about this one is it not only shows the Holy Family in their traditional nativity scene, but it also shows a next part of the story, the flight into Egypt. I like to imagine that the artist or artists wanted to include this part of the story because it connects to their country and their role in the story of the birth and life of Christ. So you see in the nativity scene, Mary and Joseph and the baby and other figures as well. And then you look over and you see Joseph leading a donkey with Mary sitting on it and holding the baby Lord, who is actually more like a toddler in this scene. And again, it's another way that culture took the story and used colors and materials and clothing styles that were specific to them and highlighted parts of the story that were important to them and integrated it into this well-known story. So these are just a few of the nativities that are on display this year at Glencairn. We'd love to have visitors come. We do love our Christmas season, and our nativities will be on display until January 7, but we are open year-round as well for tours and events and concerts, and so we'd love to see you here sometime.